everybody, and welcome to Breakdown Conversations, a YouTube channel where I have conversations around education. I have been a teacher all my life, and along my journey, I have met so many interesting and inspiring people. And so I decided to document my conversations with them here so that you too can hear their stories and the amazing work that they do. I'm here today with Priyanka Arya. She's the Chief Operating Officer and part of the core team of CENTA, which is a young social enterprise focused in the education sector. The vision of CENTA is to reward and recognize outstanding teachers and connect them to better career opportunities and make teaching a respected as well as rewarding profession. Hi, Priyanka, and thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Anupa. It's my pleasure to be on this show you are doing.
And I think it's so wonderful that you guys want to make teaching a respected and rewarding profession. It is really a profession that is so not thought about as important these days, although at the end of the day, it is one of the most important professions. But I just want to start off our conversation by saying recently you guys were in the news and the Haryana Chief Minister recently tweeted about CENTA. Would you like to tell us more about this exciting news?
Yeah, that was a great moment for us, Anupa, because in government ecosystem, when we are able to conduct our tests for teachers in mass, that has a very different kind of impact on what we are trying to do. Because what we are basically trying to do is identify outstanding teachers and connect them to opportunities which matter to them. Now, those opportunities might be different for different kind of people. Like some people might want a career growth related opportunity. Some people might want a salary increase. Some people simply might want recognition. Different things motivate different people. So we conduct these tests or assessments to shortlist those teachers who are really good in their competencies. And hence, like if in a government system, the system is using our tests to identify teachers for critical positions, that's a pretty big deal for us and for the mission with which we are working. So we're really glad.
That's so nice. That's so nice to hear. So what got you all started in, trying to recognize teachers? What was that aha moment that led you to do what you do?
Yeah, so I would just need to step back a bit to tell you the story about CENTA. So CENTA was founded by Ramya. She was a partner with McKinsey before starting CENTA, and she has been in education sector even in McKinsey. And there she came up with hypothesis that like any other profession, a profession grows if the individuals in it are motivated, are self-motivated to improve their competencies, because that is what it makes sustainable. Like what happens in education system specifically, everyone wants teachers to be good or become better by telling them things like you are doing it for the kids, you are doing it for the future, you are doing it for this and that. So there's lots of push to teachers to improve. But what will make it sustainable? What will make it sustainable is if a teacher thinks there is something in it for me. If I improve, there is something which I will get out of it. Like any other individual, you want to be rewarded for being competent. You don't want to be putting in efforts, being competent, but still not getting rewarded or recognized differentially as compared to someone else who is not competent. So that is why we started with this whole hypothesis that if we reward and recognize outstanding teachers, basis their competencies, basis a very, very objective assessment of their competencies, then those teachers will definitely be motivated to keep improving themselves. And the other teachers might also look at them and say, I also want to improve myself, because if I improve, my career will grow. I will get professional satisfaction, I will get professional growth. And if all the teachers improve their competencies, obviously the quality of education will improve. So we wanted not to have a push mechanism for teacher professional development, but more a pull mechanism. So that's how we got onto this journey.
So nice. I know that I've never worked in the corporate field, but so many of my friends have said that what's great about the corporate field is the reward system, right? You get rewarded for for so many
Yeah.
things. And in the teaching profession, absolutely no, it's the students that get awarded, but not the teachers. So, Priyanka, in my experience, working with the principals that I interact with and all, many of them don't want to reward their teachers because they always feel like, no, 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 if you reward this group or this teacher, those other teachers will feel bad, or they will say, no, why, I'm also worth it. So many things like that. So, how does the center, like what you do, how does that solve these kind of issues?
So I won't say, Anupa, that we have solved this problem. We obviously have a long, long way to go. But I would still say that there are lots and lots of principals and management people who realize that if you kind of reward teachers in an objective manner, then it's not such a big problem. We need to understand the issues which principals, etc., face, because of which they don't want to differentiate, they do not want to distinguish among their teachers. Sometimes it is on what basis should I differentiate? What if someone says that I'm favoring someone over another? Principals, etc., don't want to get into that kind of an issue. They don't want to make it mandatory. They don't want to penalize teachers because there is a shortage of teachers, right? You might have a teacher who is not very competent but is very passionate. You don't want to demotivate that teacher and let her go because he or she is not competent right now. So these are the challenges which principals, etc., face very genuinely, and we, through our way of working, try to address some of those challenges, which is why we are able to make inroads gradually. And it has been a long 7 years journey, and as I'm saying, there's still a very, very long way to go. And another is we try to keep the whole tone very, very positive. So it's about reward and recognition. It's not about penalizing or firing someone. So we very well, as in we tell the principals, etc., who work with us, or the schools, that you should make it a very positive thing for teachers, that teachers who do well will get rewarded. The teachers who do not do well, we don't even tell their scores to anyone. Every teacher gets a confidential performance scorecard. Only the winners score, only that you have won this or you are in the top 10% or top X% is told to everyone. So that's the way we try to remove the negativity out of the whole thing. And another is we tell principals and schools that you reward the way you can reward. It's not the same yardstick. You know your teachers better. And different teachers get motivated by different things. So there might be a teacher who just says that, please just make a training optional for me if I don't need it. That's the only ask I have. I don't even want a salary hike, right? Or make me a teacher mentor. Call out my name in a parent-teacher meeting. That's enough for me. That is something which any school can definitely do, even if they are not able to actually put a monetary value to it, right? So it's for different schools to work in their ecosystem and see what will work well for their teachers and carve out positive reinforcements accordingly.
That's so interesting. In many of these older regular schools, there's always the senior teachers and the younger teachers, and this salary, that salary, all sorts of things. It's so very, very complicated. And so, that's why I had this question about how you sort these out.
Yeah, it's a very, very relevant one.
Yeah. So because when I come in, I'm like, why can't we reward them? And the principals are like, no, we can't, because that senior teacher has never been rewarded and she's going to make, and in the staff room, they'll be gossiping, all sorts of things. So I think, like you say, it is a long, long journey. So I think we need to start having more conversations like these in schools, with managements, with principals, to change their mindsets, right? For them, it's all about work, do this, do this, do this, do this. And, there's no.
So we have more than 90,000 schools associated with us. We have more than 7 lakh teachers associated with us. And about 15 to 20,000 school principals themselves are part of our community. So that reach gradually helps us kind of bring our thought process in discussions, understand their viewpoints, try to see how our approach can help address some of their concerns, etc. Like for a lot of our institutional schools, we do not send their teachers information about job opportunities in other schools. So that's a very, very valid concern for a lot of schools, that you will get to know about our best teachers and you will send them to another school. So we have taken a very conscious call of not telling institutionally teachers who associate with us through large school groups, etc. We don't send them proactive emails about opportunities in other schools, etc. If they come to my center themselves and then they browse, etc., that's a different matter. But we, from our side, do not do that. So these are some of the things which we do to ensure that we are able to kind of address both sides of the issue.
Nice. So have you seen, like, with the number of schools that you're working with, do you see like the difference in the mindsets with the kind of schools that you're working with? Do you see that, or is it kind of similar across all schools?
So there are a lot of differences in mindsets and performance of teachers as well, Anupa. But it's not school category wise. And what I mean by that, it's not that all teachers in all affordable private schools perform bad, or it's all teachers in high-end schools perform really well. It's not that. We see a very wide range of teacher performance in all school categories, even within the same school. So even in affordable private school, you will have really good teacher who can compete with any teacher across the country, versus you will find teachers in very good schools who are not as competent. So we try to identify teachers within the school system which schools can leverage in their ecosystem to support other teachers. And another thing which we found very, very interesting is that a lot of time when we do teacher professional development programs, etc., even B.Ed, etc., they focus a lot on pedagogy, right? But in our assessments, we have seen that subject expertise, the fundamentals of the subject which the teacher is supposed to teach, is also a very significant gap area. So that's something which our tests have helped us realize in a very analytical manner. And that's the input which we share with everyone we work with, that work on the subject side also of your teachers, because that's the foundation on which you will build pedagogy. You can't build strong pedagogy if the fundamentals of subject are not clear. So these are very interesting insights which we got through our work, which we share
Yeah,
with
that's
everyone
really
across.
interesting. As you were speaking, I was just thinking, with the people that I interact with, many of them say that their subject matter is good, but their attitude is not good. So I've been hearing a lot about the attitudes of teachers lately, that they are not being professional, or, they're just looking at just finishing their portions and things like that. So does the center testing thing address this as well?
So the testing which we do, Anupa, focuses on competencies. So we have this well-defined competency standards. We develop them in-house so that we can keep on evolving them as more and more information come. So they have three broad competencies: technical, professional, and core. And they have another section called mindsets. So the attitudes, etc., which we are talking about, we have a section about them. But we haven't found any good reliable method to test them, especially in high stakes test, because it's very easy for people to fake mindsets, because a lot of time people know what's the correct answer. If it's a developmental setup, people have all the incentive to be honest. But in a high stake assessment like which we conduct, it's about rewards and recognition, etc., it's very easy for people to fake them because they know the right answer. It's just that they don't believe in it. So we don't test mindsets very explicitly. But what happens, most of the teachers who are associated with us have done it proactively out of their own sweet wish. No one has forced them to be part of CENTA community. So that in itself is a very big step towards positivity, or towards that whole attitude of learning something new, or at least open to assessing yourselves, your competencies, etc. So that's how we are
Yeah,
looking at it.
that's so interesting. When you said fake mindsets, it's the same thing I have when you go into like when you take a demo class of a teacher. Like, it's so difficult to tell, because obviously the teacher is going to do really well. So so yeah, I understand what you mean.
So when we say competency, we say put your best foot forward. We are trying to see whether you're able to do something or not, whether you have the capability to do something or not. We are not checking whether you are doing it or not. We're saying if you are capable to do something and you have the right incentives, there's no reason for you not to do it. Right? So we will focus on seeing whether you can do it or not, and then we'll work with your ecosystem to see that you're incentivized in the right manner to actually do what you're capable of doing.
That is brilliant. That is so brilliant. And I think this will take care of everything. I don't think we really need to do you think we will still need to do like performance appraisals if we have this, like the this testing thing in place? What do you think? Can it replace it?
So I think this is a mechanism of performance appraisal if used in the right manner. Like there are many schools who ask all their teachers to take this test and use it as one of the parameters in their appraisal process. Because in our assessments also, Anupa, there are multiple stages. So we have like a very simple in the manner of implementation of multiple choice test. It has some verbal communication related components because that's a very important factor for a teacher. Then there are more practically involved exercises like where teachers need to create a lesson plan or evaluate a lesson plan, etc. Now, depending on what kind of assessment a school or a teacher is taking, they can either leverage the assessment holistically or they use it to supplement the other inputs they are gathering, maybe from students, maybe from parents, etc. So different school systems use it differently, but lots of them have started using it in their performance appraisal.
Okay, so nice, Priyanka. It has been so eye-opening and so interesting to listen to what you do. Totally. I don't think many education systems have this in place. So it has been really, really interesting. So before we wind up, Priyanka, any plans for the future, like along your journey, the things that you have seen, and anything exciting coming up in the future?
So as I was saying, we have more than 7 lakh teachers associated with us. While it's a very, very large number, I think we are one of the largest communities in the world associated with teachers, leaving aside the government school systems, because they work at a different scale altogether. But it's still a small drop in the ocean of teachers in the country and globally. So obviously we want to reach more and more teachers and get associated with them, get them to look at their own career growth like any other professional does. So we want them to own their career, invest in their career, and grow with us.
That's beautiful. I always say the teachers are the superheroes in the system, right? We say yes, it's all about the student, but who's working with that student? It's not the management. It's the teacher at the end of the day. So I'm so glad that you're doing something for teachers, and I think we all need to learn to motivate them. Not only motivate them, to reward and to recognize teachers.
Reward and recognize them.
Yes.
Motivate them by rewarding and recognizing competent teachers.
Competent teachers, yes. That was brilliant. Thank you so much, Priyanka. And I'm really taking away a lot from this conversation. And
my pleasure, Anupa. And I hope all your audience also find this conversation useful and start contributing towards teachers' growth, their rewarding and recognition.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Priyanka. And bye for now.